you and I talked about this off air. We had an Isaiah Simmons clip at PHNX_Cardinals. Go follow, by the way. We're quickly approaching 9,000 followers. We had a video clip of Isaiah Simmons saying, "I'm moving from linebacker to DBs. I'm a defensive back now," and it had a lot of engagement. Well, the engagement we thought was partially Cardinal fans. It was from Eagle fans, because Eagle fans took that as Budda Baker is coming to Philadelphia and Isaiah Simmons is replacing him as his safety, as air. So the casuals on Twitter believe that while Budda is away, Isaiah Simmons will play his position at safety.
I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. I think that they've got some safeties lower in the depth chart that can play the position more familiar with.
So what's Isaiah Simmons
the
playing?
Back? He's a slot corner. He's a nickel corner.
That sounds awful. Does that not sound terrible to you?
So I was doing some research, just looking at, looking for some comps, because who's going to play the roles of Jonathan Gannon's 2022 Philadelphia Eagles defense? Okay. And I think that just from what I've seen in practice, and look, this is as Jonathan Gannon called it, pajama ball, right? It's just you're out there in shorts and you're not really lining up and hitting anybody, and it's up to mandatory minicamp football. Just where he's lined up, where he's practicing, where it's as simple as that. It's the slot, it's the nickel corner position, and more and more teams play in the nickel the majority of the time. Like, you might have your base defense, but I think I saw Dallas played in the nickel at least 90% of the snaps last year. It's insane. And Avonte Maddox is the comp that I found, that I think that's the role from the 2022 Eagles.
That he's a household name for sure.
Well, I mean, he played good ball.
Who is it?
Are you being sarcastic?
I am. Yeah, I don't know who the hell that is.
He played good ball for the Eagles. Avonte Maddox.
Avonte Maddox, you are a casual, Johnny.
Avonte Maddox? I know the kid that went to the Raiders. They had him, right? That the Cardinals were in.
Yeah, Epps was a safety.
Epps was a safety. Of course, CJ, who trashed Jonathan Gannon on his way out after Gannon made him a ton of money. CJ Gardner.
Yeah.
Johnson was a safety.
And
Avonte Maddox. I think he went he's from Detroit, I think, originally. He's undersized, though. Isn't he little? How big is Avonte Maddox?
Most slot corners are little. I can't – I'll look up his profile, but I
think Avonte Maddox is a corner. I don't think he's a safety.
No, he's a nickel slot corner.
But isn't Isaiah Simmons a safety now? Why is he –
No, he said he's playing DB. He didn't straight up say I'm playing safety. I'm playing with the defensive backs. Yeah, Avonte Maddox is 5'9", 184, but imagine
so Isaiah Simmons
this guy's 6'4", 240. They ran the same 40 time at the combine, 4.39.
I would like to draw your attention to Isaiah Simmons playing the slot corner in the year of our football Lord 2022, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It was awful. And again, they are coached infinitely better. You talk about pajama ball. The Cardinals played pajama ball through the month of September and October last year. So I'm not putting that on Isaiah Simmons. I watched Isaiah Simmons in year 3 as an NFL player get abused at slot corner. Why would they put him back there? What
did he get abused by?
I don't know. NFL players?
A guy who's going to have a bust in Canton. A guy who's going to have a gold jacket in Travis Kelce. He abuses most
Joel,
guys.
I'm not hating. Joel, you want to put Isaiah Simmons?
He's keeping his Iron Man streak up of slandering Isaiah Simmons. That's exactly what you're doing. You're the Cal Ripken Jr. of slandering Isaiah Simmons every day.
Thank you, Agent 47. Simmons at corner is not a good idea. I thought the plan was Cam Chancellor, Jamal Adams, Isaiah Simmons.
Okay.
Those are the guys he looks like, that he's built like.
Okay.
Slot corner, 5'9". You're naming off practice squad level players for the Eagles. That should be Antonio Hamilton.
Did you call Avonte Maddox?
I'm pretty sure he started in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. Oh, he played 75% of the snaps for the Eagles that were one of the top defenses in the league.
I'm not a hater.
Don't take the position, and that's the difference. It's like what people view as traditional slot corner, nickel corner. Jonathan Gannon has, I guess, bigger role than most coaches have, most defensive play callers.
Tell us about Four Peaks. I'm looking up Isaiah Simmons slot corner grade via Pro Football Book. That's why you do that.
Well, I've got it up right now. You want to see it?
You have his slot corner PFF?
Well, I mean, as far as the snaps that he played in slot, he played 409 slot snaps last season.
What was his grade?
His coverage grade last year was 69.9.
But from slot corner.
I don't think it breaks it down from the position.
What am I paying for, PFF? I don't get that.
Well, you're not. You stole it from your ex-girlfriend.
She was a
just
football
like your Netflix
junkie.
account.
That's right. I've been with my wife for 11 years. I've had this account for 12 years. That's right. I've had PFF premium grades for 12 years. All right. Tell us about Four Peaks.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Four Peaks. We love being partnered up with Four Peaks. It's the official beer sponsor of PHNX Sports, and you've got to be following along on Instagram. They're always, unveiling some of their great beers that they've just brewed on location, like their Staycation IPA, which is so delicious. They've got the green tea lager, which they unleash during the spring season and into the summer. And of course, you got the old steadies like the Kilt Lifters, the Flagship. You got the Wow Wheat, which hits a little bit differently in summer months, doesn't it? It's so refreshing. Can't go wrong with the #1 wheat beer in Arizona. But you got to be following along at Four Peaks Pub, at Four Peaks Brew, because on their IG, on their social media accounts, they'll give you opportunities to win some great things. Like you can win 4 seats to a Diamondbacks game. They've got some great giveaways to teachers. They got the 4peaksforteachers.org. Check that out and give to the teachers before the next school year. Check everything out. Make sure you're following along on social, but more importantly, go to the H Street location in Tempe. Have a great meal. That means they got the great appetizers like the chicken rolls. You got the Four Peaks garlic cheese beer bread, which is delicious. You got the Italian beef beer bread for a great entree. Get it with the Four Peaks style French fries, and then also get dessert and enjoy some great beer along the way. Got to be 21 years or older and drink responsibly over at Four Peaks, Johnny.
You absolutely love to see it. I'm going to share my screen here in a second while we talk about Isaiah Simmons PFF grades. But first, I'm going to talk to you about swinging for the fences with our friends at BetMGM, the official home of PHNX Cardinals each and every football Sunday. This fall, we're going to be at the BetMGM Sportsbook on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium, where I can yell at Isaiah Simmons from their balcony. I cannot wait for all of you to join us. And in the meantime, get this sweet, sweet offer in 3 easy steps. You take your smart device, your phone, your computer, log on the BetMGM Sportsbook app, and then you play the BetMGM MLB free-to-play game from now until September 7th, 2023. Be a batter and pick an area of the strike zone and win big. Depending on the area of the strike zone you pick, double, single, triple, or home run, or the pop out, and receive the prize associated with that type of hit and or out. You got to play once a day, and the prizing must be used on an MLB bet, and it expires in 24 hours. So if you win, you got to use it quick. And if you haven't signed up yet, be quick on that too. Use that BetMGM Sportsbook app and that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our friends in Arizona, you're going to get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, make sure you're using that bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Sweet Baby Shane, producer today, talk about it in the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Isaiah Simmons is beloved. I'm seeing that now in the chat. Anton, I'm sorry. Johnny out here hating, can't finish a beer without sipping on it. Listen, I do take a long time to finish my beer. I enjoy it. Laugh out loud. This is a grown-up conversation, sir. Listen, Isaiah Simmons spurned this program twice. That is part of the fuel for my fire. I'm going to try to be objective here.
I love this idea. The Johnny Hater shirt in the PHNX locker.
I could totally get behind the Johnny Hater arc. That sounds like it would sell.
All right, so here's some haterade for you. This is Isaiah Simmons' weekly grades via Pro Football Focus. This is not the end-all be-all, and by the way, this is also coming from one Vance Joseph. So again, I've always said I agree with Vance that his development was skewed by the prior regime. So what are we looking at here, Bo? So we've got coverage grades on the right. So I'm going to organize it by coverage grades, right? And then I'm going to go look over here. I will say that the game in which he played his most coverage snaps, albeit against shitty Tampa, 47, right, against Tom Brady. Remember that game on, was it Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? He had an 88 on Christmas. He had an 88 coverage grade, 47 snaps in coverage. That's better than I thought. So I'll give you that. But looking some of these grades down here, Atlanta and San Francisco, those were the last 2 games of the season. 50 snaps in coverage combined, sub 50. Not great. So I would say there's some reason for optimism.
Where was he playing those games, Johnny?
Well, I think he was playing. Was he also playing a little bit in the? I mean, if a coverage grade's a coverage grade.
Didn't they have him play a little safety with Budda Baker out those games?
I don't remember. Is that where he was playing?
We'd have to look at the breakdown, but I would imagine that they probably with Budda Baker and his cracked shoulder, that they had him slide into the safety spot, play some of those snaps.
I mean, here was the horror show against, where's Kansas City? Here's the horror show against Kansas City. 36 coverage snaps, mostly in the slot, sub 50. So,
he is who he is when he played Travis Kelce. So when he plays Travis Kelce, that's Isaiah Simmons. That's the true Isaiah Simmons, in your opinion.
Stop. Again, you'll have to convince me that it's a good idea to play.
When you compare him to Avonte Maddox as far as coverage snaps, they're very similar. They're very comparable.
Avonte Maddox is a friend of the program.
Is he really?
No, I interviewed him at the Super Bowl. You can find that on our YouTube channel.
Don't tell him I said he was a practice squad player.
He played 75% of the snaps for a very, very good Philadelphia Eagles defense last year.
Okay.
69.1, a very nice coverage grade for Avonte Maddox. When you look at Isaiah Simmons, he had a 69.9 coverage grade.
Okay. Here's the difference, Avonte. Avonte was not taken first round, eighth pick. And then you look at his height. I think this is just unprecedented. I think we're back into why are we doing what we're doing? Don't you think so?
I think Isaiah Simmons now has a very good idea of what his role is going to be for this defense, to where the previous 3 seasons he had no idea on any given down, any given situation where he was going to be.
Slot corner.
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit against Tampa. 55 snaps in the slot, 88 coverage, 37 snaps in the slot against Philadelphia, 70.4. That's against Gannon, so I'm sure he watched that. New England, 78. Okay, this is making me feel a little bit better. So some of his top grades outside of against Kansas City in the slot, he had good games. So
so Blaine in the chat saying he lost the Chargers game, right? So he's covering. He's got to pick up the assignment to take down Austin Eckler, and he's got the assignment on Gerald Everett. He's not going to be in those positions.
Okay, my pushback. You're playing good players every week. I don't want to do the thing where you lost to this player and this is a good player. Isaiah Simmons should be a good player. Isaiah Simmons was a top 10 player. So I don't need Isaiah Simmons to dominate against backups and feel good about it. I can do that in August. Put Isaiah Simmons out there for the 3 preseason games. He'll rack up a bunch of statistics. The point of drafting Isaiah Simmons was he's going to take out George Kittle, right? He's going to take out these elite tight ends in the division. And so until I see that happen,
he's been very bad against tight ends.
He has. Now, but again, I'll credit where credit's due. This is promising. 55, 37, 36, 29. Those are some of his top grades last year from the slot in coverage. So I trust Jonathan Gannon. If I'm not going to come here and be a ex-DB safety, and if they want to put him there, this is not Vance Joseph and Cliff Kingsbury. So I give them the immense benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
thank you.
You should. And I think just having a really good idea of where you're supposed to be, and you could call it what it is, and it's not going to be this. What Jonathan Gannon, what he wants to get from his slot corner, his nickel corner, isn't going to be the same what Vance Joseph wanted to get from his guys either. It's different. It changes from defense to defense. And I think I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to JG and his plan for Isaiah Simmons. Now, things can change, right? I mean, if he goes out there week 1 and you got, I don't know who John Dotson or Terry McLaurin, he has to gets tough assignments like them, and he gets, cooked and toasted, then we'll have to reevaluate.
I'm going to tell you right now, if he plays slot corner and a little bit of safety, but he plays slot corner and he has a really nice year. Do you think that helps his case to be re-signed? I think so. When you have Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson already making a bunch of money, and you can justify it by saying, well, Isaiah Simmons, yes, he's another DB, but he's a corner now. I thought it would hurt him just being a safety. But if he's playing a vital role as a slot corner in Gannon's secondary that's going to have 5 or 6 defensive backs routinely, you know, I think at the very least it helps him maybe get a franchise tag where it wouldn't have before.
Yeah, and I see Agent 47 put him as a third safety. It's basically like having a third safety on the field.
And I think he'll play some third safety,
right?
Especially
and look, I mean, if Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis can find out a way to harness the athleticism and the freakishness of Isaiah Simmons, it's just going to be good for everybody. If they can unlock that, whether it's him saying, I primarily play, I'm a defensive back and I'm going to play nickel, I'm going to play slot corner, but he's productive and he's making an impact down to down. That's all that matters. And then it's up to the rest of the league. It's going to be other teams who are going to evaluate him and try to figure out, okay, how do we kind of figure out and diagnose how we want to approach Isaiah Simmons? We want to play him in a similar role. How do we pay him? And that all gets really complicated, but that's stuff that you figure out down the road. Right now, Isaiah Simmons knows that the most important thing for him to do is learn his position and excel at that in the 2023 season in order to get the bag in the 2024 offseason.
He's such a specimen when you see him in person and on TV, but like physically, he just doesn't look like a slot corner. So, and then you have nightmarish flashbacks to the game. He's struggled, albeit for Vance Joseph. And it's just like, what are we doing? You know, half the fan base wanted to move him to edge rusher, and rightfully so. They're like, look at him. He's 6'4". He's lean. He's got explosiveness. Why can't he play on the edge? I think you're right. I think that's the most. What do we need to do for Isaiah Simmons to play his best football? You have to trust. You have to trust John Gannon, who's got how many years, decades worth of coaching defensive football to say, this is Isaiah Simmons' best position. Let's worry about getting paid and projections for future contracts in 2024. Let's have him play, for the first time in his NFL career, a complete season where he doesn't have Vance Joseph breathing over his neck and sitting him. I want to, all seriousness, come on this show and admit that, hey, I was wrong. He's got it all figured out now. He's got a future with this team. I need to see it first. I need to see consistent. I mean, he was benched week 1 last year. I need to see consistent play, and I trust Jonathan Gannon to do it.